Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Parts Talk. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate each and every one of you. Now before we begin, please like and subscribe, hit that notification button. You'll be notified every time I drop a new video. I try to drop a new video every week. I'm in the process of relocating right now, so everything is all over the place. And I want to try to be as consistent as possible, so please bear with me. Now, today's article we're going to be reviewing is called Nothing Left, and it's from the Detroit Free Press. UAW releases video inside Indiana plant, blasts GM downsizing. Now, shutting down plants is nothing new because this decision is made and controlled by paper pushers in nice, big, spacious, air-conditioned office. They have no idea of what the lives that have been sacrificed are going through on the floor down there and how many hours and tremendous effort a lot of these workers actually put into try to ensure that these plants are profitable and manageable. But they have to, at the end of the day, they have to look at the numbers to see if it makes sense. But let's go directly into the article. Then I'm going to be showing you a video, and also we'll be going over the number of plants that have closed down in the past 20 years. Not all of them. I've just selected a few, and then you'll understand exactly what I'm trying to tell you. So the article goes on saying, continuing an aggressive lead up to contract bargaining, the UAW on Monday released a video of its leader touring General Motors component holdings plant in Kokomo, Indiana, where workers described a black cloud hanging overhead as thousands of jobs have disappeared from the facility over the years. Now, let me say this. Having worked in the automotive industry over the past 25 years, it is one of the most ungrateful industry you can ever decide to go and work for. It is unforgiving. The market continues to shift, and once it shifts, you will shift along with it. So bear that in mind. Now, in the video filmed on May 11th and posted online on YouTube, new UAW President Sean Fain, a Kokomo native, says on December 9, 2017, the last semiconductor was shipped out of the fabrication shop here. We made semiconductors here from the 1950s forward, and it's a shame to think that GM chose to close this place, shut down the fab where we make semiconductors in late 2017, and you know what the rest of the story has been. So let me say again, if you ever decide you want to go to work in a plant, get in, get some experience, and get the hell out. That's all I've been saying to you. You have been warned. So let's get directly into this video.
Each square on there, when you look through the microscope, looks like a city with streets. Yeah. And so you'd have to, follow the streets and make sure that you were getting everything aligned, right?
I'm here today in Kokomo, Indiana, at the GM Component Holding Plant, home of UAW Local 292. This place changed my family's life. Two of my grandparents, my grandma and Grandpa Carter, hired in here back in the 40s. This was a home of the first transistor radio. When Delco radio started, when they made the first transistor, I remember seeing my grandmother, they had a board, but they would literally put
a lot of history, a lot of family history, especially if the plant is situated in a local town far off the beaten path, because that plant will turn out to be the lifeblood and the economical survival of that small town.
Diodes and stuff on the board, just manually built these boards, and now it's all in one little square. This place, Delco Electronics, back in that time, made all the radios and went in all the GM cars. And it's a shame to see where it is today. There's over 2.5 million square feet of floor space. Over 2 million of that square footage is empty. In a workforce that used to have roughly 15,000 people, now there's just under 100 people left. How long have you been here?
I've been here 17 years.
17 years.
My mom started in '63 over in William.
Yeah. Well, everybody grew up in this town. Somebody worked at GM. I mean, that was it.
But it just seems like there's been a black cloud over this place. I'd sure like to see that black cloud get
Damn right.
brushed away.
You bet.
We'll see if we can't get up the windstorm.
My grandparents, many of my aunts and uncles, a lot of my friends hired in here after high school. I remember when I was in high school, my senior year, coming here for my grandpa's retirement party. And now it's just a hollow shell, nothing left.
Yeah, so the entire family generation actually passes through places like these in small towns, in rural areas in North America, in much of Europe, and large mass of land where they can spread out and try to make as much assembly as possible. However, economic downturns, poor decisions by politicians, and they are the ones who are generally responsible for situations like these.
Definitely seen the decay. I mean, just from across the street, you can see that we went from full parking
Oh, yeah.
down to barely one parking lot.
Yeah.
We used to have all three of these lines running. Now we're down to one line and one shift.
December 9th, 2017, the last semiconductor was shipped out of the fab here. We made semiconductors here from the 1950s forward, and it's a shame to think that GM chose to close this place, shut down the fab where we make semiconductors in late 2017, and you know what the rest of that story's been.
The major chip shortage hitting the new and used car industries.
All because of a worldwide shortage of these semiconductors.
This is just another example in a long line of failings of GM and the big three companies and how little they care for the workers and the communities we live in. They want to be here. They want to work. They're proud of these jobs. Some of these people, 24, 25 years, they're standing here hanging in the balance now, waiting to see what's left for them in the future. So we got to get back in the fight. This is what we're doing. We're coming out here meeting our members face to face, getting prepared for bargaining.
And the one thing I can say is good luck with that, because once it concerns GM, it's a never-ending saga. The pause may be at GM. I can tell you they are really poor leaders when you look at their track record. I'm gonna prove it to you. Now, I have here a number of examples of plants being closed down right throughout the years. I've just listed a few of them, so let's go through. The first one I have here is Oldsmobile LANSING car plant in the United States, opened in 1901 and closed in 2005. Explanation: the closure was a result of General Motors' restructuring effort. Oldsmobile, a brand under General Motors, was phased out due to decline in sales and the desire to focus on other brands. Number two I have here is the Ford St. Thomas assembly plant in Canada. Opened in 1967, closed in 2011. Ford Company closed the plant as a part of its restructuring plan during the financial crisis at that time, and the closure was a result of declining demand for large vehicles, as well as the need to reduce production capacity. A video on this plant a couple weeks ago where VW has now taken over that location, and they will be doing battery assembly at that particular location for electric vehicles. Let's see how long they will last there. Now, the other one I have, well, not necessarily, yeah, it is the third one I have here, as a matter of fact. SAAB automobile plant in Sweden. So we're going across Europe. Sunrise 1945 to sunset in 2011. Explanation: SAAB Automobile, a subsidiary of General Motors again at the time, faced financial difficulties and entered bankruptcy. The plant's closure was a consequence of the bankruptcy proceedings and the subsequent sale of SAAB to a Chinese consortium. The other one I throw into the mix is Mitsubishi Motors' normal plant in the United States. It was closed in 2016. And the explanation for this is that Mitsubishi Motors announced the closure of this plant as part of its strategic shift towards Asian markets. The decision was influenced by the decrease in demand for sedans in the United States. Everyone wanted a SUV, small and large pickups, and the phase still continues. However, Mitsubishi is trying to claw back into the market by introducing electric vehicles. Then we have the Holden Elizabeth plant over down under in Australia. Sunrise 1963 to sunset in 2017. Explanation: General Motors. They decided to cease production in Australia due to high manufacturing costs and a decline in local sales and a shift in focus towards more profitable markets. The closure marks the end of Holden manufacturing in Australia. Now we're going to go over again into Europe. The Ford Genk plant in Belgium opened in the early 1960s and closed in 2014. The explanation for this: Ford Motor Company closed the Genk plant as a part of its European restructuring plan. The closure aimed to address overcapacity issues and improve profitability by consolidating production in other locations. Germany had an Opel Bochum plant, and it opened in 1971 and closed in 2014. Explanation: Opel, a subsidiary of guess who? General Motors, closed the Bochum plant to reduce costs and improve competitiveness. The closure was a part of a broader restructuring plan to address overcapacity and financial challenges. Now, please note that these are just a few examples that I've taken out, and there are several other automotive manufacturing plant closures in the last 20 years. The reasons for closure, they can vary, including financial difficulties, decline in sales, strategic realignment, changes in market demand, and cost-cutting measures. But mind you, when it comes down to cost-cutting measures, you are the first to go, because salary is right there on top of one of the most expensive costs that a company can bear in mind. And to be frank, dealerships are not much different. You go in, you do what you have to do, you try to get out, because at the end of the day, all they're concerned about is making a profit. If it doesn't make any sense, you got to go. I've seen this. I've been through a number of restructuring, layoff, redundancies over the years, and it's a never-ending cycle. Again, it's very unforgiving, it's very ungrateful, and I would try to encourage a lot of people, get in, get your experience, get out. Mechanics are beginning to waking up. They're dropping their wrenches and they're going on to open their own shops, because with experience and the know-how that they have, they can fit into any industry, because at the end of the day, the engineers build, the mechanics maintain what we all take for granted. Let me know your thoughts below. General Motors, you got to wake up. Something is definitely wrong at the top. Your leadership, the direction you're going, and the constant restructuring that you have to be doing over and over and time again. You have to relook at your blueprint. That's all I'm saying. Let me know your thoughts below. Remember to grab a copy of my ebook, The Parts Manager Guide. Please smash that like button on your way out. It will only take you 1.5 seconds to do so. Until next time.